Let's talk about the DAS Audio Action 12A. It is a 1000 watt peak, 500 watt continuous, 12-inch speaker with a wood cabinet. We have, I think, about 17 of these in our inventory right now. They're kind of our go-to speaker for rentals, floor monitors for bands, DJ shows, acoustic shows. We got these because we became a DAS audio dealer, so pretty much our entire line of speakers for the most part is DAS audio. And I'll probably give reviews on some of the other ones. This is I'll say it's like the entry-level wood cabinet speaker. We came from having a bunch of the Electro Voice ZLX 12Ps in inventory, and a big reason we switched to all DAS was we bought the DAS Audio Event 210A line array, and when we go out and do bigger production gigs, I like everything to match, so that's why we just kind of switched everything. I am a lot happier with these than I am the ZLXs. Obviously the price point is 50% higher, so it should be a little bit better speaker. The ZLX 12Ps map for $399. This is a $629 speaker. Obviously we've bought more over the years, but we started getting these in inventory about 2, maybe 3 years ago. A couple things I will say that I do like is the product cycles aren't really super short. You know, one of my issues with JBL is that I bought the PRX 535s when they came out, and granted there was some issues with those speakers. They did need to bring out the 600 series, but my issue with the whole PRX series is, you know, 500 series, 600 series, 700, now they're up to 800, and might not be 100% right on this, but did they do an 800 and then an 800W? Because they put the wireless stuff in it? I'm not quite sure. It might have just been 800 and it always had the wireless stuff in it. But I feel like JBL's product cycles are really fast, and for our rental company, for pretty much everything we do, it's not like we just, oh, let's sell every 12-inch speaker we have and instantly buy, you know, 16 new speakers all in one shot. We don't do that. We usually slowly roll them out and buy a new one, and our speaker changeovers wind up happening over the course of, you know, maybe 2 years, you know, for us to completely sell one line of speakers and buy a new line of speakers. And then when we have that changeover happen, I still like to have a few years of, you know, adding on and building out our inventory as the business grows. And with the, you know, granted the PRX 500 series, Pirate Radio Productions was way smaller at that point in time. You know, I think we had one show that went out, so it's grown vastly since then. But, you know, I bought the tops, and I was like, man, I'm going to buy the subs when I get the money to. And then the 600 series came out, and I was like, oh, well, I don't like having mismatched speakers. I like everything to match. So I do like a longer product cycle. You know, it's nice to, like, I'm sure it's nice for speaker companies to bust out, you know, replace the models every 2 years and have these new fancy features. That's awesome, but for somebody, you know, building a company around a certain speaker line, it's tough to have that multi-year build out when they're discontinuing models every couple, you know, 2 to 3 years. So I do like that the Action 12A speaker has been around for a while. It's a good solid speaker. Is it the best speaker out there? No. I mean, obviously they have the Vantex series, which is higher up, more SPL. Better sound, I'm going to say, is debatable, and, you know, I'll probably go into that when I do a review on the Vantex 215A that we have, because I'm actually not a huge fan of the sound that comes out of that speaker. It definitely gets louder. I don't want to get too far into talking about it, but I do prefer the Action 215A better, but it doesn't get as loud as the Vantex. So there's a trade-off, and I don't know if it's because it's a semi three-way cabinet, but that's for another video. I don't want to get too sidetracked because I tend to babble if you've watched many of my videos. It's a good wood cabinet, solid. I've had the speaker, these bolts rattle loose inside, and you hear it rattling around. Take the speaker out and put the bolt back in. That's one of the issues I've had, but I imagine that could potentially happen to any speaker out there. I've only ever had to send one in for repair. I think, well, actually, I had another Action Series one with an amp issue as well. I'm not sure what it was, but maybe it's because we're a dealer, but DAS is really nice. I do not have to ship the entire speaker cabinet in for warranty repair. They do let me just take out the amp module, wrap it up, and ship it to them. It's pretty rare that I have stuff sent in for repair. I think that's the only... Oh, I did have to send Vantech amps in for repair, for warranty repair once as well. I think that was a capacitor issue or something. I don't know, but we have a lot of DAS speakers, and I've only sent 3 in for warranty repair, just the amp modules. I did have to send in a full stack, 4 amps from our event line arrays due to some bad 220 power. I wasn't too happy at that event because it took all the money we made at that event just to fix the amps. So my pro tip of the day is, if somebody rents a 220 box from a rental company, you know, they have stage and everything, you're just coming in with the PA, check their 220 box and make sure everything has a proper connection all the way back the line to the door. You know, I mean, even, heck, bring a multimeter and test the power. We pack a multimeter now with every show, but basically the issue that we had, which fried a full stack, it fried the power conditioner that the band was using. Luckily it didn't fry any of their equipment, but it fried their power conditioner to where there was smoke coming out of one of the racks the band had. But what wound up happening was, and you go into a lot of venues that are like this, the 220 plug in the wall is flipped upside down, so you wind up with the cord going vertical and then hanging down. So what had happened was that they just didn't fully seat the plug, so there was only 3 points of contact in the pin, or in the 4-pin 220, and there was only three pins of contact, which gave us power, but apparently that can cause wild power fluctuations. If somebody knows more about electricity than I do, feel free to comment, because I'd be pretty interested to know what actually happened. I do know once I finally went back there and was like, well, where the heck is the 220? And I went back there and looked at the cord and saw it was half hanging out of the wall. You know, pushed it in, crossed my fingers, and hoped when I powered up the other stack of line array that they didn't instantly pop, and they didn't. So that was obviously the issue. Luckily, I still had half a stack to make the night go, but it did suck having to send in 4 amps for repair, and I think that cost me about $800, about $200 an amp to get that done. But anyways, back to the speaker we're actually here to talk about. Good mid-level speaker. For DJing, we use them in our DJ 100 package, our entry-level DJ package. I feel like they get good full-range sound. They do get louder. I think maximum SPL on this is 131, whereas the ZLXs we were coming from, I think, was like 126. So I mean, it's noticeably louder. But I think also some of the tight punchiness of the bass isn't quite there. I don't feel like, I'm never one to use the boost button either, but I don't feel like these are really EQ'd to be, I mean, obviously a DJ can use them, but I don't think they have like a built-in DJ EQ curve. And if you've ever heard the Evolve 50s, I think those are specifically designed to be a DJ speaker, because you can definitely hear, like, the bass sounds great, the mids are definitely lacking, and there's high end, so you can tell it's EQ'd to be a DJ speaker. This I feel like is EQ'd more as a general purpose speaker, more flat response, and that's why it works good, because we use it for live music and DJing as well. And it does work well. It gets good and loud. You know, if you want thump and bass, as I always tell people, don't expect to get thump and bass off of a 12-inch speaker. I mean, you could buy the 15-inch version of this as well. You're not going to get thump and bass out of that. If you want thump and bass, you need to buy a subwoofer, and that's just the way it is. So we use these for up to about 100 people at a dance. You know, any small town school dance, acoustic show. Pretty much any wedding they're fine at, but if you really do want to fill out the sound, you've got to add a subwoofer to it. And we actually use the Vantech 18A subs instead of the Action 18A subs. I've never had any of the single 18-inch Action subs, but I have had the dual 18 Action subs. And while they're good subs, they just don't hit real low. They're very punchy in the 80-90 hertz range. So I prefer to have the Vantech subs, and you know, one single 18 Vantech sub will outrun two of these tops. So you're pretty good when we do up to 250 people. Then we just bring two of these tops and one of the Vantech subs, and that usually covers it pretty well. I've never had one overheat either. You know, some powered speakers use heat sinks to cool themselves. I've had the Electro Voice, the original ELXs. I believe that's what they did. I don't think they had a fan. If they did have a fan, it was very poor, because I have had those overheat in the sun. I've had these out in direct sun, 95-degree day, and they have not overheated. So the heatsink works well on it. Definitely doesn't need a fan. If I was to complain about something with this speaker, I do wish it had an aux in. You know, it's only got one XLR 1/4-inch combo jack in, which we get around that. You know, I just bought headphone to XLR, so in an emergency situation, you know, headphone to XLR, plug it right into the speaker. But it would be nice, even if it just had two ins, and you know, obviously they have to do some cost savings. I'd rather have a higher quality speaker with less inputs and just bring a mixer than try to do everything on the speaker. But it would be nice to have a few more inputs on the speaker. You know, like the Vantech series, you know, like I said, we've got the Vantech 215A, and that's got two XLR combo jacks and a headphone jack in. And they also have Bluetooth, but I never use the Bluetooth. Another thing I do like about it is it's got PowerCon. Every DAS audio speaker that we own has the locking PowerCon connector. When we rent these out, every time I bring out the power cord, because even with XLR, sometimes I'll get a rental speaker back in the shell of the XLR because somebody just went and yanked it. You know, push the button to release. So every time we rent these out, I always make sure I say they are twist lock. They will only fit in one way. Turn it 1/4 of a turn and it'll lock in. When you go to take it out, pull this back, twist and pull. That is the one hazard with renting stuff out. People just don't know. Somebody comes up and they just yank on a cord expecting it to pull out. That's exactly what happens with an IEC cord. With PowerCon, it's not quite that way, and that's what I like about them, is that they stay in there. But if you get somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, you know, then they obviously try to rip it out. Really, other than that, you know, I don't have too much to say about this speaker. You know, it's not, there's nothing special about it. It is a great 12-inch general purpose speaker, works good for floor monitors, DJing, live sound. Bass-wise, you know, I feel like you'll get more out of like a JBL PRX, but I sometimes don't think the quality is quite as good, but I haven't owned any of the newer PRXs. I'm pretty happy with the Action 12As. I don't have any plans to replace these. I actually just bought another one the other day, because we have one rental that regularly goes out with 3 speakers, so that always left us an odd number in inventory. But I have no immediate plans to replace the Action series. We'll probably actually keep running these until they decide to discontinue them, and I'll keep adding to inventory. I don't plan on stopping and starting to switch to something else. I do still buy. Last summer we sold all of our ZLXs, and last year I bought one pair of ZLXs. I did have to buy 1 pair of ZLXs this summer as well. And it's not because I wanted to add them to inventory. You know, being a dealer, we have to order a certain amount of speakers to get free shipping. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense. So if you need 2 speakers, it kind of sucks. And then I just wind up ordering from one of our distributors that's more local and get a different brand. But I would definitely recommend this speaker. I think the reliability will be there. It only comes with a 2-year warranty, and that seems to be a little hesitant. You know, when everybody like QSC touts 5-year warranty, maybe 6 years. Somebody else has a 5 or 6 year warranty too, but I haven't had any problems with these. The service on them, you know, you ship it down to Miami, they get it fixed and ship it right back to you. Everybody at the corporate office in Miami is very nice to work with. I've even Skyped with the tech down there and showed them, you know, what was going on before I shipped them the speaker, because the one action I did have go bad, the problem was almost a little intermittent. Like if you didn't try to play music loud, it wouldn't fail. But once you like cranked the music up, you know, the amp would almost like shut off and then pop back on and then shut off and pop back on. Almost when the bass hit, like it just wasn't getting enough power to drive it, and it was just shutting down every time it would try to really push out the sound. Also I will say, one of the big reasons I switched to DAS, because a lot of people, you know, we do so many different events, and there always seems to be somebody there that's like, oh, well, you know, what kind of speakers you running? And everybody pretty much is like, oh, are those EVs? Like, no, they're not EVs. I didn't think they particularly looked like EVs, although maybe the darkness of the label, but there's not a big E and a V. But I get asked if we run EVs a lot, and then I say, no, we've got DAS audio. And then you usually get a blank stare where they're like, well, what's that? Well, I don't know the history of the company, so I'm not going to go into a history lesson, but I will say why we chose DAS audio. And big reason was, when we bought the line array, everybody, it seems, that does a dual 10 line array, they're all plastic boxes. And when I got rid of our ZLXs back in the day, I really wanted to get rid of all of our plastic boxes. Just be done with plastic speakers, get something that's wood, get something that's going to last, and, you know, be able to get dinged up a little bit, because, you know, we use our speakers. And one of the, you know, so just aside from having a wood cabinet on their line array, I did like that they actually make these in Spain. It seems like so many speaker manufacturers nowadays, they're all just contract manufacturing to China. You know, outside, you know, Turbo Sound, you know, they manufacture in China, but they manufacture in their own factory in China. So maybe that's a little better, I don't know. But and maybe JBL's got their own factory in China too. I don't know the logistics of everybody, but I'm just tired of seeing made in China, made in China, made in China, because, you know, half of it seems like it's just a bunch of crap. And, you know, 80% of the gear we have is made in China. So I'm always happy to throw business to another country. And I like that they operate their own factory in their own country. But good speakers, I would recommend getting them. If you're looking for something higher end, you know, definitely look at the Vantex series. They definitely sound pretty good. I will say one thing, if anybody from DAS watches this video. Around here we were a little bummed out when Carbon got out of the speaker business, and their column array system, the TRC system. I actually called in or chatted with one of the sales reps in Miami and said, you know, if you guys are ever looking for an idea, somebody needs to copy that TRC column array system. Because I know a few of them around town here, and everybody loves them. You know, they're not necessarily the best sounding, you know, the bass isn't quite there, the highs aren't the best, but it's such an awesome system that just projects nicely, and you can cover a really good crowd, and it's super easy to set up. And just, I know there's other, like RCF, DB Technologies all have like these, you know, column arrays. And I'm not talking about like something like the Evolve 50. I'm talking about something where you can dual stack 18s and then put a column on top of it. And whether the column is powered by itself or like the Carbon system where the subwoofer actually, you do a speak on up from the sub to the top to power the top. Whether it's something like that or just something that's got its own amp built in, I'd probably prefer having its own amp built in, because if it could be in the Vantech series, I could use my Vantech 18As, buy 2 columns, and have an awesome system. You know, I'm really tempted to buy the DB Technologies Ingenia system. I'm not a huge fan that it's got a compression driver as well, because when you double stack 2 columns, you always got to flip the top one upside down, and then, you know, you get the compression driver in the middle of the column. Which is fine if you have the middle of the column above head height, but you know, you always want to get that compression driver up there. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I would almost personally just take the reduction in frequency response and have it just like the Carbon system, where it's just speakers all the way up. And I mean, at a great price point on that, like $6,500, $7,000, and you could get a packaged, you know, 2 single 18s, 4 columns, and easily cover 300, 400, maybe 500 people. So anyways, my recommendation to anybody out there that makes speakers, especially DAS audio, man, somebody's got to copy that Carbon column array system. It was like the one good product that company made. And, you know, they might not have had the best name, they might not have been known for, you know, superior sound quality. I do feel like it could use some improvements, and anybody that, you know, is good with speakers probably could improve on it, and you know, even charge a little bit more for it. But something like that needs to come to market, and something that's not going to, you know, wind up costing 15 grand in the end. But I'm contemplating the DB Technologies Ingenia, the IG 4T with the 6.5-inch drivers. That one is pretty tempting. And one day when I got some extra cash laying around, I might buy that. But, you know, then it comes to, I've got so many subs. Do I want to buy the DB Technologies subs? I want the tops. But I suppose I'd buy the matching subs just so it's a matching system. But it'd be awesome to use them with the Vantechs. And I obviously could, I just don't like things that look mismatched. But anyways, I will stop babbling for today. If you have any questions about this speaker, throw it down in the comments section. I know I didn't give a whole lot of details about it, but, you know, to be honest, it is a pretty generic 12-inch speaker. It's got decent sound quality, it gets nice and loud. I will say the handles are nice, I've never had any screws come out of it. One knock on the EV ZLX 12P. Tighten the screws on your handles. Take them out and throw some Loctite on there. I don't know why they don't Loctite them at the factory, but like none of these screws come out. But on the ZLXs, when I think we had a dozen of those speakers. I had so many with missing handles, missing screws. It's just in the vehicles, they just vibrate right out. Not this pair that I just ordered, but the pair that I ordered last summer. First thing I did when I took them out of the box was take an Allen wrench and tighten the screws on the handles. And they came from the factory loose. I mean, they're not a brand new speaker. Quality control really needs to look at that. Maybe they don't want to put Loctite on them because the handles are made to come off so that you can put a wall mounting bracket on it. But I mean, even if you throw some Loctite on there, how many people honestly mount them to a wall? I would imagine more people use them on a pole than mount them to the wall. And even if you throw some Loctite on there, it's not like you're not going to be able to get them out. But something needs to be done. Throw a lock washer on them. I did have a buddy of mine that I sold probably half a dozen of those speakers to. He actually went out and just bought a bunch of lock washers and put it on there. But that is one very annoying thing about the EVZLX 12Ps. So I will say, all the screws stay in here, except I did have one of these M10 rig point screws vibrate out. But anyways, have a good day. Let me know if you have any questions.